What's up, y'all, and welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network, the best network for all your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. First off, I want to thank the viewers and listeners for their understanding. As for this episode, my voice is just not the same right now from dealing with the flu, but the show must go on. We're just days away from Super Bowl 59, where your Philadelphia Eagles will face the Kansas City Chiefs in a rematch of Super Bowl 57 just 2 seasons ago. We're going to preview this game along with our predictions, but first we're going to dive into some Eagles news. Starting off with our first piece of news, which is more so Philadelphia news, but as many people may already know, there was a plane crash in Northeast Philadelphia that killed all 6 individuals on board, plus a resident on the ground, while also leaving at least 24 people injured last week. The Eagles organization had released a statement offering their condolences and prayers to the victims and families involved in this tragic incident. One of those injured is a 10-year-old boy named Andre Howard, nicknamed Trey, who was injured while protecting his younger sister from flying debris when they were out getting donuts near the crash site. Trey was taken to the hospital undergoing emergency brain surgery to save his life. When he woke up from the surgery, he had just 2 questions. The first, did I save my sister? And second, we didn't play yesterday, did we? Did I miss the Super Bowl? He's reportedly in stable condition now, and what an incredible, heroic young man. Every time I hear this story, I just think of how awesome this little man is for risking his life to save that of his sister. And a lot of people feel the same way as us, including Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown, who said during the media days of the opening of Super Bowl week that he would be playing for Trey Howard on Sunday and plans to, quote, visit him when they get back from New Orleans, hopefully with some hardware. A tremendously kind gesture from A.J. Brown, and to Trey and for all the victims of those impacted by the crash, we do offer our sincere condolences and prayers, and we will continue to watch this story for any more updates. In other Eagles news, as we saw last week, defensive end Brandon Graham was taken off of IR and was a limited participant in the final Philadelphia practices before the team took flight to New Orleans, and continues to be a limited participant going into the practices in New Orleans so far. We're still unsure if Graham will actually play, but here's something interesting that I saw on X, or for your old school guys like me, Twitter, from Simone with the Sports. So, back in 2013, when the Baltimore Ravens won their second Super Bowl, Ray Lewis, a long-tenured veteran of the team, tore his tricep earlier in the season, but played through the Super Bowl, which at the time was hosted in New Orleans. Fast forward 12 years to now, we have Brandon Graham, a long-tenured veteran with the Eagles, who tore his tricep earlier in the season, could play in the Super Bowl, which is once again located in New Orleans, where he could potentially get his second Super Bowl ring. Now, I'm not comparing the careers of Brandon Graham and Ray Lewis. I'm just saying that is one hell of a coincidence. Hopefully, this outcome is the same and Brandon Graham gets that Super Bowl win. In other Eagles news, the Eagles will have to deal with Chip Kelly for the first time in nearly a decade, as Kelly has accepted the offensive coordinating position for the Las Vegas Raiders, who the Eagles are expected to play sometime next season. Kelly served as the Eagles head coach from 2013 to 2015, and even though he wasn't the head coach for long, he made an impact on the Eagles that most of today's fans are trying to forget. He's known for trading or letting guys go like Nick Foles, LaShawn McCoy, Todd Herremans, and Jeremy Maclin, while acquiring guys like Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray, and let's just say those guys weren't exactly the best replacements. Additionally, the Eagles have been named one of 9 potential landing spots for defensive end Myles Garrett, according to NFL.com. On Monday, Garrett officially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns in pursuit of a championship. Other teams listed in the article from Eric Edholm include the Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, Los Angeles Chargers, and Atlanta Falcons. Now, of course, it's too early to tell where he will go. That is, if he will be traded at all. Remember, a request does not automatically guarantee a trade. Is it still likely to happen? Probably, but we'll see. But if Howie really wants him, he'd have to dial up some magic in order to get him. And if we were to, that would be an unstoppable defensive front line. All right, y'all, we're going to dive into the Super Bowl preview. Now, the time is almost here, y'all. We're just 3 days away from the Super Bowl, and for a lot of NFL fans, they could probably care less. But for us Eagles fans, and I guess Chiefs fans too, this is a monumental moment for each of these fan bases as their teams go head-to-head for a chance to hoist up the Lombardi Trophy for their team, their fan base, and their city. There's a lot of different things one can say about how each team can get a win, but here are some of the things that I think the Eagles need to do to get a win over the Chiefs and to lift that trophy up for the city of brotherly love. Starting with the offense, first thing I think we need to do is we have to use play action efficiently. Now, the Chiefs' defense, they're ranked 28th in the league against play action, while the Eagles' offense is ranked within the top 5 in the league using play action. The Chiefs have been good against the run, ranking 8th overall in rush defense. However, they allowed James Cook to have a big game in the AFC Championship, and respectfully, Saquon Barkley is a much better running back who is playing for so much more than himself in this game. That front four is going to be a challenge, but if we get our run game off to a great start and keep that momentum going, Kellen Moore can dial up some play action that can get us close to, if not into the end zone. Additionally, Jalen's decision making has got to be precise and quick, yet strategic. We know Jalen's been very good against the blitz, but Mina Kimes mentions on ESPN that yes, Hurts is good against man blitz, but his numbers are worse against zone blitz, which is something that Steve Spagnuolo loves to do, and hopefully our team already knows that and have been working on that in practice over the past couple of weeks. Jalen's ability to read the defense, especially against the blitz, will need to be on point in order for our offense to get down the field and avoid making mistakes. Essentially, Jalen's got to have to play one of the best games of his career. Next on offense, that passing game. Get that passing game involved, kind of similar to our play action point from earlier, but that front four on the Chiefs has been good at stopping the run. We're going to have to dial up just as many pass play options as our run options. While we are a rushing football team, the Chiefs know that. So they're going to try and stuff the run as much as possible. They are going to have to deal with, is the run going to be by Jalen? Is the run going to be by Saquon? Are we going to do another handoff to like Goddard or Smith that we saw against the Commanders? Regardless, they're going to have trouble against that, but that doesn't mean that they can't stop the run. So we got to keep our options open. The passing game looked good against Washington, especially on that 4th and 5 call with the pass to A.J. Brown. So we got to keep that passing energy going into this game that we had against Washington. Shifting over to the defensive side of the ball, some things I think we got to get done. The biggest thing probably, contain Patrick Mahomes and make him uncomfortable in the pocket. He can be dangerous when he scrambles, especially if he gets into the open field in the middle. While he doesn't rush as much as Jalen Hurts does, nearly 91% of Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl rushing yards have been off scrambles. Not from quarterback designs, that's not really the Chiefs' forte, that's purely from scrambling. However, we cannot let his ability to scramble allow us to leave parts of the field open just because we think he's going to scramble. This man has made unbelievable passes, a lot of which came from while he has been scrambling. So our biggest thing to avoid this sense of indecisiveness of whether to rush Mahomes or whether to stay in the zone is by containing Patrick Mahomes early, because he does not do well once he's uncomfortable in the pocket. And if he's scrambling, we can force the scramble to the outside to avoid those big yard gains in the middle, because that's where he gets most of his yardage, is by finding open field and scrambling towards the middle. Next, we're going to need Zach Bond to completely shut down Travis Kelce. Kelce is a very reliable target for Mahomes, targeting him very often, especially on those inside routes towards the middle of the field. Now, Bond is one of the best interior linebackers in the league right now, and I think his speed will be able to contain Kelsey, limiting his immediate options, either forcing Mahomes to scramble with no pass options or to throw away the ball. But Bond has basically got to keep Kelsey on his toes and just limit those options completely. Another thing on defense, I say this one a lot, but our defense cannot slow down in the fourth quarter like they have in a lot of other games. They did an excellent job of keeping their energy and momentum throughout the entire game against the Commanders. They'll have to do the same thing against the Chiefs. And here's kind of a weird one that I think we need to be on the lookout for, but be aware of when Juju Smith-Schuster is on the field. Again, maybe a little weird considering he isn't big of a playmaker compared to Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, or DeAndre Hopkins. But every now and then, he can have some sneaky good games and tends to be targeted nearly every time that he is on the field on a play. He had 3 catches for 60 yards against the Bills, with his best game being against the Saints, where he went 7 for 8 for targets for 130 yards. So just be on the lookout for Smith-Schuster whenever he steps in, and anticipate that throw is like 90 to 95% of the time going to go to him whenever he's in on a play. Another thing we need to keep doing on defense is don't steer away from what's been working with our front line. There may be some pressure to rush an extra man because of Mahomes' scrambling abilities or his ability to make a pass out of nothing, but our ability to be successful with rushing just 4 has been great. And against a good passing quarterback like Pat Mahomes, we want to eliminate as many pass options as possible. And having 7 personnel versus 6 back there will be able to help us do that. 3 out of the 4 touchdowns from the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57 were through the air. So shutting down Mahomes in that pass game will be an essential component for us to get a victory. All right, now before we end the episode with our predictions, I want to say this from an overall team perspective of how the Eagles can get the win. Overall, they need to play complete, clean, and intelligent football. For the Chiefs, they've been here before and often. On Super Bowl opening night, they're out here walking across the stage and field with ass loads of confidence. They're loud and riling up the crowd. And with a lot of the fan base, media, and maybe even some players, who knows, they're acting like they're already got the job done. The Eagles locked the fuck in, and that's exactly how they need to be leading up to and throughout the whole game. For a lot of our guys, they're either seeking revenge and have that on their mind, or they're having an overwhelming sense of excitement of being in their first Super Bowl. And both of those feelings are extremely valid. However, they must not allow them to cloud their judgment. The Birds have been doing what they've been doing all season long, putting heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears from the opening kickoff to the final whistle. And they just got to do it one more time this season. This game, the Birds got a lot to play for. For Saquon, it's a career resurgence and a chance to finally get a Super Bowl ring after a record-breaking year. For Jalen Hurts, it's proving that he's an elite quarterback that deserves respect. For the team, it's about revenge from Super Bowl 57 and for overcoming adversity from the collapse of the 2023 season and silencing all of those who doubt them. For the city of Philadelphia, it's about bringing another Lombardi back to the city of brotherly love, a city that believes wholeheartedly in and unapologetically loves this team. Our team comes into this game as a 1.5 underdog, but we all know what happens when the Birds are considered underdogs. Hungry dogs run faster. All right, our predictions. So with this game, I think it's going to be a 1-score game. An all too familiar scene for the Kansas City Chiefs, as most of their games have come down to a 1-score game. However, this time, they will be on the other side of those outcomes, as I'm predicting a 1-score difference in a 30-23 win for the Philadelphia Eagles to take home the Lombardi Trophy. I'm predicting that Jalen Hurts is going to have 1 touchdown on the ground, Saquon will have 1 touchdown on the ground and 1 in the air, and A.J. Brown will have a touchdown of his own. All right, y'all, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at 2nd and 15, or by the full name Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode, Second and 15, and Old City Sports Network are sponsored by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Use promo code OCSN for 15% off the best jerky around. They got some awesome flavors like Darth Garlic, Soul Survivor, OG Hickory, Teriyaki Balboa, and more. Any orders over $50 will get free shipping. We're also brought to you by Warlord Beard Oil. Use promo code OLDSPORTS, all caps, for 15% off your beard oils, washes, and many other products at warlordbeardoil.com for all your beard care needs. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping. We're also brought to you by SeatGeek. Download the app and use promo code Old City Sports Network, all one word, for $20 off of your first purchase. We have some local sponsors, including Robert Hangholt Construction. If you're in the greater Philadelphia region and you need some work done with your roof, your windows, your siding, you want a new deck, whatever you need, call the number one contractor in the area at 610-348-1066 for a free estimate today. For all your Delco needs, check out Decals by Aaron. Your number one spot for everything Delco. Check out decalsbyaaron.com today. And finally, we have Iron and Steel Threads. Use promo code OldCity10, all caps, at ironsteelthreads.com for 10% off the entire website. And a portion of the proceeds will go to youth hockey organizations. Also, don't forget to check out oldcitysports.com and click that merchandise tab for some awesome swag from Second and 15. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network. Thank you so much for all the support and love you've given to the show over these past couple of seasons. We've got one more game to go, y'all. Let's get ready for Super Bowl 59, which will air this Sunday, February 9th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Have a safe and fun Super Bowl weekend. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle. And as always, go Birds.